Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
January is a big month for Daytona. You've got the Roar. You've got the Rolex 24. You've even got some Daytona Oval action. And the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series picks back up season number 2 here at Daytona International Speedway. Going to be a great one. My name, Mac Nelson. Producer behind the cameras, big boss man Rob Campbell, and my partner here tonight with me, Mr. Emmett Crow. Emmett, it's going to be a fun one. How you feeling?
Feel pretty good, Mac. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at the World Center of Racing. Mac, I'm telling you, I've been pumped for this series. We got to call this their little short season last year, and it's time for the season opener once again. Let's get it underway.
Yeah. It's going to be a fantastic time here, Emmett. No doubt about that. 77 degrees here in virtual Florida. Track temperature 95 degrees. We're itching very close. We're getting very, very close to sizzling temperatures out there. Tires are going to be degrading fast, but hey, man, it's Daytona. You're going to keep it on the loud pedal and just hope you don't get collected. That's really the name of the game here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a survive and advance, and it's a game of survival, especially when you get to about 10 laps to go. The action really ramps up, and we see some crazy, what we call them the Keselowski-Logano style blocks that can ultimately cause the big one.
Yeah, I agree. As we see there. Are going through the grass, giving it just a little bit of a haircut there. But we are in week 1 here. It is going to be a 20-week season. There's a little bit of, contact there. Hang on. Pit crews might have to get over the wall and start scrapping. But we're at Daytona here, week number 1. We got 20 weeks here. Next week, we're packing up and going to Iowa. We saw Iowa in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. I believe it was not the penultimate race, but maybe a race before that last season. So it's going to be fairly familiar for these drivers. We got 65 laps here, 4 sets of rubber. It's not going to be crazy long like the Daytona 500 special event they run here on the iRacing official service, as well as, the real Daytona 500. But Emmett, after seeing the little bit we did last season, coming in here is Gary Breland going to have a shot here to retain his title? Or do you think someone else is coming for that top spot?
Well, we had some unbelievable races here in the Tobacco Road Next Gen Cup Series. And, I mean, we had James McRae was on fire for a lot of the season. As we see Joe Bonner out here. Joe Bonner, the owner of LNG Power Washing, as we get our graphic on the camera, located in Millsburg, Pennsylvania. So great to see Mr. Bonner out here showing off his local business.
Yeah, we'll be flashing that ad card throughout the night. So if you have any need of information for LNG's Power Washing Company, you can see that here tonight. Ending practice, we're going to get into qualifying here. 5 minutes. There were murmurs on the streets of a one-shot qualifying. Not entirely sure if we're doing that or the normal 2-lap stuff that we see. Chad Lancaster is going to be the first car out on track. Gary Breland, your defending champion, right behind him. Brandon Lopez also making his way out there as well. So for Gary Breland, it's going to be a matter of staying on top. A lot of people say it. You hear it a lot. I'm a big fan of WWE. If you are at home, you're going to know this. They always say it's easier to get to the championship than it is to be the champion and hold it. So will Gary Breland in that number 99 Ford Mustang next-gen car, will he prove viable here at Daytona? Can he get a good points finish and start this season off on the up and up?
Well, and the thing is also, if we're talking about, the fans of the Tobacco Road Next Gen Cup Series, this is a different car. Last season, we saw Gary Breland in the 23 Toyota Camry, and which he won that championship in. So now making the jump over to Ford and driving the 99, it'll be interesting to see how that Ford horsepower can, if it can knock off what he did in that Toyota Camry, excuse me.
Yeah. No, I get you 100%. And it's funny, the Canadian driver is choosing to side with American Power here, as Gary Breland going to be one of our only few foreign drivers on the grid. Jonathan Pereira in the number 38 Chevrolet Camaro. He is a Portuguese driver. Currently sitting in a very good spot, actually. He's taken the high line here on his opening lap, building the speed. That's what you see a lot of these guys trying to teach the young upcoming iRacers of the official service. They want to get into oval. First things first, you take it to Daytona and you hot lap, and for qualifying, you need to keep that car as close to that wall as possible on your first lap. You need to build as much power, as much momentum as you can into that next gen car, and then once you decide that you're going for a good time, you're going for your hot lap, you're going to strap it down low, and you're going to keep it on that white line or yellow line, depending on where you're at on the track at all cost.
Yeah, definitely. And Jonathan Pereira, he had some great runs last season, and I'll be looking for him to build on that. Scott Matthews on here just went to the pole. Scott Matthews, he would be right up there, Mac, but then he'd get caught up in late race wrecks, and it would ultimately knock him out, as we see Gary Breland go back to the top of the charts.
Yeah, your defending champion here, 50.31 for the number 99 camp. So Gary Breland off to a fantastic start. Joe Bonner going to be in P2. Johnny Thunders in the number 60. He is going to be in P3. And that's somewhere you don't typically see him. During the last little bit of last season, when I got to catch him, it seemed like he was a mid-pack driver. He was always there. He was always fighting. But much like you said with Mr. Pereira, he is often collected in the scuffles, the scraps that happen in that mid-pack chaos.
That's exactly.
So
I'm sorry. I was going to say that is exactly correct, Mac. Just like I said, just like Brandon McLaughlin, we just saw, they got caught up in where they were dominating, but got caught up in some late race wrecks.
Yeah, no, I agree. And for Nate Lesko here, he is currently sitting at the top. He has ran a 50.300. It's going to be very, very close there. Cannon, Mr. Blake Cannon, running just one. That's a 1,000th. Yes, I can finish first grade math. That is going to be 1/1000th off Mr. Lesko there. So Blake Cannon almost with it as we see James McRae here. You were talking about James McRae, Emmett, just a little bit ago in that Cinnamoroli.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either, but that car last year, it was a real, like, almost cream color. So glad to see James McRae in the powder blue Cinnamoroli. I don't know either, Mac.
Yeah, it looked like Powder Puff Girls to me, man, but that might be my age show, and I am kind of old, man. Just turned 27, so we are on the up and up. I got gray hairs.
Sugar spice and everything nice.
Exactly. But here we go. We're getting ready to grid up for our opening race this season. A beautiful panoramic shot of Daytona International Speedway and that big infield. We'll go through your grid. Row 1, Nate Lesko, Blake Cannon, P3 going to be Gary Breland, and the 13 of Travis Everett. Row 3 is going to be Joe Bonner with Brandon Lopez on his outside. Row number 4, P7, Johnny Thunders, Curtis Preston in that number 12. Row number 5, James Johnson, P10, Scott Matthews. Row number 6 is going to see Brandon McLaughlin and Jonathan Pereira. Row number 7, Chris Toppings, and P14, Chris Perry. Row number 8, Michael Peden with Jordan Baumgardner. P17 is going to be BVM. P18, Chad Lancaster. Row number 10, Cody Adams and Thomas McLaughlin. Row number 11, James McRae and GT Irizarry. Row number 12, John Smith. And
the broadcast.
The broadcast mystery car, P25, Casey Gross, P26, Adolfo Castillo, P27, Billy Jordan, and P28, Scott Broker. Row 15 is going to see Peter Smetana and Justin Kaus. That was a name at the end of the grid I was not expecting to see. I think that's the first time I've seen Mr. Smetana in here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. So
another interesting thing, you know, we saw Justin and his brother Jason, but it looks like Jason won't be here at Daytona.
Yeah, very interesting. The Kaus house deciding to field one driver here tonight instead of two. As the iRacing official pace car gets set, getting orders from the top man. Pull off and we can start this race. Emmett, while we go around in this formation, pace lab, whatever you want to call it, tell me some key takeaways for the race tonight and how can a driver be successful here?
Well, it's all about survival. And it's all about knowing you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, as the great Kenny Rogers would say. But it's all about, you know, trying to find that dance partner when it comes to it, you know, finding that right partner to draft with that can ultimately get you with this next-gen car. It's a lot different. We're going to have some pack racing, but it's going to be really hard to pass with these guys and with how these next-gen cars are with this carbon body. But it's all about getting that run. And when you have that slingshot move, you better engage it, because if you don't, you're going to be regretting it for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right 100%. And what I also think is going to happen is you can't get caught up in the accordion effect. That's what I've, you know, come to know it as. I feel like a lot of people call it that accordion effect where, or I guess not accordion, it's more of a conveyor belt. You move a lane, you get a few positions, you slot back in. And then that lane might overtake you a few laps from then, and you're right back to where you start. So you move to the outside, try to gain some positions. And you just got to get out of that cycle. You've got to stand your ground. Nobody wants to see a big wreck here. If you're a driver out on the grid, some of the fans might. But if you're a driver on the grid, you don't want to see one of the big ones. You don't want to see a wreck. You just want to bide your time, but you have to stand your ground. You can't just lose and lose and lose all the way to the checkered flag. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it here. iRacing official pace car about to pull in and release all of these dogs in the park. We are here. It is virtual Daytona, Florida. We are green in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Series Season number 2.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to add, Mac, is we see Mr. Johnson in the 48. You know, he was in the 88 last year. So it's really interesting, all these new drivers and their new numbers and teams.
Yeah, very, very much so. I agree with that. We'll get to the team breakdown a little later here tonight, but another thing that's going to help a driver be real successful here is the use of your teammates, making friends, as we see the entire field behind Nate Lesko. They're just itching. It's lap 1 Daytona. They always say it over the voice chat of the iRacing official service. When you're in an official race, you can't win it in turn 1. But dang, man, these drivers want to try.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely want to try. And it's all about filling out now. Okay, so we're green, and how is my car going to handle? For Nate Lesko, he's wanting to see how it's going to handle in the clean air. But everyone else wants to know how it's going to handle in the dirty air. And that's how it's going to be the big shaker in this race. And another thing, Mac, it's not a matter of if the big one's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen, and you got to be ready to avoid that big wreck.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's something that almost seems inevitable when you talk about racing at a super speedway, whether it be Nashville Super Speedway, the New Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega, even the fantasy iRacing Super Speedway that we have here on the official service. It seems like every single time you get a big grid out here for a race, there's going to be a big one. Travis Everett there on the right side of your current view. Chris Toppings trying to overtake him, but the Black Rifle Coffee Company 13 Mustang looking to get linked up with the 48 and 44. That number 44 car, Blake Cannon, he is going to be your outside pole row sitter here. Started the race P2, has decided to drop back a good bit. Nobody really out there to help him on that top side compared to the bottom. And the 48 Lowe's Camaro of Johnson. James Johnson, NBA player James Johnson. I'm sure that's not same guy at all, but James Johnson, I said it last season, I have to say it again, that's a deep pull. James Johnson is a deep pull, vetted in the NBA. Can this Mr. James Johnson become vetted in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series and pick himself up a win? You see BVM right there, part of Velasquez Racing. He is someone you can catch on the Racer Nexus broadcasting channel in the special stage that I call on Monday nights. He's a big street stock runner and GT4 runner. So BDM turning to the oval side of things here, Emmett.
Yeah, definitely, and great to see these road course drivers and street stock drivers running at the high banks of Daytona. I mean, this is the world center of racing, and whether it's the the Rolex 24 or it's on the official 2-mile super speedway of Daytona International Raceway, it's always a special moment to see another driver on there.
Yeah, and Travis Everett here, you see him in the view. We are currently on board with Chris Toppings watching behind him. Travis Everett has got a little ways to go when it comes to grid space before he gets to a teammate. He is actually kind of out in no man's land right now, sitting here towards the front. So Travis Everett going to try to jockey for position over the 12, and it looks like he might just be stuck for now.
Yeah, and Travis Everett running another Black Rifle Coffee paint scheme. I think it says something about French vanilla on it or something like that. So definitely doesn't have the big rooster on the front of the hood this time, Mac.
Yeah, and honestly, if there is a French vanilla Black Rifle flavor, I might have to try that out because that sounds heavenly. I'm currently rocking the Tactisquatch I believe it's the darkest roast they
Yes,
offer.
sir.
Kind of a dark roast coffee guy. Don't really care for the light roast. So, hey, you got coffee lore here tonight on a Wednesday.
Hey, I'll tell you, I just started, I got the free $25 sampler from Everyday Dose made out of mushrooms, and it's very good, surprisingly.
I'm a big mushroom guy here, mushroom on pizza. I'm also a big Nesquik guy. Shout out to
Yes.
Nate Lesko. He is running the Nesquik car again. They thought I wasn't going to notice, but I did. As you see, James McRae there working on Cinema Roll. It's Cinema Roll. Gotta be. Cinema Roll. The Cinema Roll car of James McRae there trying to cut up through the field. 14th. He is 7 spots up. He started the race P21. Big movers of the day are going to be the 2 cars right behind him, though. Adolfo Castillo and Billy Jordan, both in the Camry. They're both up 11 spots, so they seem to be a very good tandem right now. And, you know, an unbreakable bond out on the racetrack like that might net you some really good results no matter what kind of pace you have here at a super speedway.
Yeah, and just want to add, you know, we had the sad news of the owner of Intex Oil passing away and his wife taking over, but Tommy Norris, the foreman, is really doing a great job as a vice president, and loving seeing that Intex number 12 Mustang up front.
Yes, sir. So sentimental car for up front here. Billy Jordan as well, as you see. The 12 of Curtis Preston there. Trying his best to chase down. I'm not entirely sure who that is in front of him. As we...
Yeah, so Mac...
come around here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say we're coming around here for our 10th lap, completing lap 9, starting lap 10. Joe Bonner there in the number 22, chasing Gary Breland there, your defending champion. It seems that Gary Breland always finds himself in these situations, Emmett. He seems like he's always having his back bumper being rode. It seems like he's always got some sort of aggressive driving going on around him, and that just tends to happen when you're the champ.
Well, you know, we go back to that race at Bristol when, you know, Gary Breland dominated along with James McRae, but it was a newcomer in that league. I can't remember who it was. They drove the pink car, but they were able to get the win after not practicing and qualifying 5th. So Breland took that. I asked him, I said, how are you going to take this top 3? He said, well, we're going to go win a championship, and that's exactly what he did. Very consistent, and looking forward to seeing if he can repeat in season 2.
Yeah, and a little update on the biggest movers board. We've got John Smith in the number 47 Camaro. He is up 14 spots. He started this race P23, and he now sits in P10. Amazing work by him. We see James Johnson in the 48 trying to take the high side, kind of getting left out to dry here as we move on. Starting lap 12, we're going to have a little bit of a weird thing going on here in a few laps. It's a weird thing, but it's for a very, very good reason. Emmett, would you care to explain?
Yes, so as many fans of NASCAR got the horrible news that NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and his family were killed in a plane crash. So on lap 16, we're going to throw a caution, and Chris Toppings is going to take the lead, and we're going to do a silent lap in honor of Greg Biffle.
Yeah, I believe that caution will come out on lap 15, so that way
15,
the silent
yeah.
lap can be on lap 16 there. But yes, going to have a little silent lap memorial for the Biff, Greg Biffle. As a kid growing up, man, watching NASCAR, it was on, what was it, Speed TV, I think it was called. And Greg Biffle was just always on there doing, like, the shows. and, you know, just doing interviews and stuff. And you could just tell he was a genuine guy, a really nice guy. So, I mean, well-deserved. He's got very well-deserved love in the community as we see cars going round and around towards the back of the grid. It's going to be Adolfo Castillo and Thomas McLaughlin. Castillo, part of that Quantum Motorsports team. Thomas McLaughlin, part of Nap Daddy Racing with John Smith and Brandon Lopez. So both of those guys kind of not really in play with their teammates, and that could be one of the reasons why they have spun out. But here we go. We're starting lap 14. We're getting the caution next lap. So you can kind of think of this as your white flag for stage number 1, as we have Nate Lesko in that Camry, pretty single file. I think all these drivers are just wanting to get to that memorial lap, you know, on the lead lap, and then when we start back racing again, I think they might try to kick it into gear, Emmett.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to add, Jason Kaus came in here and said that Justin is his nephew, and said they got back too late from testing in ARCA at Daytona. So that's why Jason is not in the field tonight.
Oh, so taking a little trip to Daytona in the ARCA, or for the ARCA series, I should say, as we do have our caution. Nate Lesko, Gary Breland, Joe Bonner, Johnny Thunders, Travis Everett going to be your top 5 for this mini little stage here while we do our memorial lap here when they come back around. And Emmett, just here before we get to the start-finish line, just, you know, tell the world, in case they don't know, what kind of person Greg Biffle is.
Greg Biffle is such a great guy. You know, he's one of the good guys that you want to cheer for each and every Sunday. He was an unbelievable driver. Never won a championship, but, I mean, so many wins and so much history for Jack. Only ran for Jack Roush until he did run a couple races for NY Racing. But, yeah, such a hard. And then mentoring Cletus McFarland as he's starting his NASCAR career in the ARCA series.
Yes, sir. So while these cars take a trip around, we will go silent for the memorial lap for Mr. Greg Biffle. And with that, Mr. Scott Broker has crossed the line. Starting lap number 17, we are under yellow. iRacing official pace car. Not entirely sure if the lights have been turned off. As you see there, Chris Toppings with a memorial paint to Mr. Greg Biffle and his family. So big shout out to everyone involved with the making of that paint.
The cool thing about it is, Mac, there was so many, I've done several races now within the last week, and there's been so many Greg Biffle throwbacks, and everything from the Wii car to, his iconic National Guard to this Post-it to just all kinds of paint schemes that Biffle ran. And it's such a great tribute from the community, and it just warms your heart as a NASCAR fan, knowing how much Greg Biffle impacted every one of these sim racing drivers.
Yeah, and the theory and law hold strong that the good die young. Very, very sad news for Mr. Greg Biffle and his family.
Well, the thing is also, Mac, Jason Kaus letting us know that Greg Biffle is actually going to be in Daytona with Cletus McFarland this year to run ARCA. So, I think Cletus McFarland is going to have a big fan. He's already got a big fan club, but I think there's going to be one or two more, several drivers rooting for that young man to win at Daytona.
Yeah, that is for sure. We go green here, lap 18 of 65. We've got 48 to go. You hear the roar of these Next Gen Cup cars as they head around the high banks of Daytona. Nate Lesko, your Queen Creek, Arizona driver, still in front here in that Nesquik 20 Camry. He's got the 99 of Gary Breland. That's defending champ number 99, Gary Breland. And he is coming for a very, very good start to the season. James Johnson in that number 48 also trying to get his elbows out and maybe pick up a spot or two. And it's looking like maybe I was correct on the call, Emmett. I think these guys might get a little racy here.
Yeah, it looks like they're definitely getting racy. Oh, there they go.
That's going to be a big, big collision in the back. Luckily, not too many cars seem to be affected, but the initial impact looked crazy. We'll get another look here shortly. Blake Cannon started second here tonight. Not exactly how he wanted his race to start. As we go back and look at the replay here, keep your eyes on the left. That's number 44. He's just going to, unfortunately, have a little bit of a step out of that rear end. He's going to have to catch it. He loses speed because of that and gets hit in the left rear. Very, very unfortunate turn of events there for the number 44.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't look like he has any damage, Mac. And looking at that car, it started second on the outside front row. So look for Blake Cannon to carry on that speed. It'll be interesting, though, with the little damage he does have. But the thing is, Mac, with these Gen 7 cars, if you're in a Gen 4 and you get just a little bit of damage, your day's pretty much done. No, not today. Not with this Gen 7. This carbon fiber body is basically indestructible. We've seen so many guys, when it comes to Daytona, get caught up in a early race wreck, and then you know what? They're right there at the end trying to win the 500.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Michael McDowell's win at Daytona had a little bit of that cadence. I believe he was caught in something early and then went on to, of course, win the race in a crazy one. Michael McDowell didn't really see that coming from him. And will we see something like that today? Keep your eyes on maybe the 14 of GT Irizarry. He seems to be that guy. He gets into places where he can shine. Now, with his team behind him, is that someone who can get the job done? He's part of Outsiders Racing. He's got Travis Everett as his team captain. We know he can bang. He has got a lot of wins here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. He's also got Scott Matthews, Chris Perry, and Curtis Preston on his side, so he's going to have a little bit of a numbers advantage here. especially late in the race, those drivers might be able to all get to the front. But here we go, Emmett, our first little look at a pit road stop.
Yeah, and I would imagine this is probably going to be maybe just a fuel stop. Maybe some guys come in for 2 tires. But, I mean, the thing about Daytona is, well, let's see if they go up on the jacks.
Looks like a lot of cars opting to get tires as you look, but it's not going to be that for Mr. Breland. He is going to just get a little bit of a splash and dash. So interesting, we see alternative strategies already starting to appear here, and we're not even a third of the way through the race.
Yeah, very interesting indeed.
As we see Bruce Velasquez Munoz, Jordan Baumgartner there in P20. Blake Cannon still in his stall, getting a little bit of work done to that 44. He is the one, of course, who this yellow was for. Unfortunately, getting turned into the wall. And that's just how it works here at Daytona, Emmett. You can run a very, very good race, but the problem is that guy in front of you, you have to be on the same page as him, and the guy behind you has to be on your page. So a lot of stars have to align for a very good draft line to emerge here at Daytona. Thomas McLaughlin there spinning.
Yeah, man. I was taking a look back at the schedule for the Tobacco Road Next Gen Series, and like you said, I know you've got that race number 3 circled as we're headed to your the Bluegrass State, your neck of the woods, Kentucky, and then Watkins Glen, Texas, Bristol. Just a lot of diverse tracks being thrown in there, and great looking schedule as we get this season rolling.
Yeah, it's a very appealing schedule when you have those different sized ovals like that. You go, something like Daytona, you go down to Bristol and then maybe up to a Kentucky and then back down to a Dover or something like that. You throw these curveballs into your schedule that really gets eyes on the series, and it really gets attention peaked, because at the end of the day, yes, we're turning left. Yes, there is an art behind it. I do not like when people say that oval takes no skill. It takes a whole lot of skill, but at the end of the day, when you're watching it, it's cars going left. So when you see these guys on these different levels of tracks, different bankings, different elevations, a road course thrown in here, Watkins Glen, maybe Road Atlanta, Road America, something of that sort, Sonoma, it's a classic. Seeing substance like that on a schedule really makes, the series pop, and it makes everything just feel a little more prestigious.
Yeah, and then another thing I was reading, they're going with the 2026 point system. So, from the first gets 2100, second 2075, third 2065, fourth 2060, fifth 2055, sixth 2050, seventh 2045, and so forth, all the way to 2000. That's really cool, because now we get to see how this is going to react, and we get to see it in action. So kudos to Chris Toppings and all the admin at the Tobacco Road Cup Series, Next Gen Cup Series. We get to see this new point system in action.
Yeah, I think that's really cool as well. And with the shorter schedule, we're actually going to get to see the entire season play out before it does in the real life counterpart. So we're going to get a little crash course of how this 2026 point season might work in real life. iRacing official pace car pulling off. Nate Lesko will have the button again as he approaches the Geico restart zone. We are green again here at Daytona. These drivers are starting lap number 23. We're almost to the halfway point, Emmett. What have you seen so far that has been the biggest surprise to you?
Well, so far, I mean, it's been how good the lead car in clean air is, but look at the run Travis Everett's getting as he's getting right up on the back of Lesko. Going to give him a big push down the backstretch. But now that, had to lift right there as he got a big shot for Johnny Thunders. Johnny Thunders trying to get up there. As now we see, look at our leader. I mean, our former champion, our defending champion, excuse me, Gary Breland, trying to get some help for Bonner as Johnson's giving them a push. So really, Mac, what I'm seeing is it's, like you said, the accordion effect, and there they go.
And yes, I'm glad you said it, because if you didn't, I was going to, Emmett. The accordion effect, it started all the way on that back stretch the previous lap, and it took until turn 1, the next go around, for it to actually come to fruition. And that is the most dangerous, as the 22 car flexing a bit on the racing surface there. That was crazy. 22 of Joe Bonner, he's going to go around and around, and that accordion effect claims the first virtual life here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's just a matter of, looked like maybe Bonner's spotter told him he was clear and tried to move, trying to get that run from James Johnson, and just a little bit too late, and came across the front of the nose. Let's see right here. Yep, right here. Comes right in front of the nose of James Johnson, and sends him around. And I mean, look at this job right here. Oh my gosh, that was close right there, but didn't hit anything. As Chad Lancaster looks like he was collected, another Florida man in this race from New Smyrna.
Yeah, and it seems, Emmett, that every single time we've seen something happen here tonight, it's been the top lane, and that's normal as you see Chad Lancaster just get swiped across the nose there. But fighting on the high side is always going to be a lot more difficult here at these super speedways. When you're on the bottom, you've got an escape road. You've got a route you can take. You can dip off into the grass. You could cross the racing line. You can do things to avoid that stuff from happening. When you're on that top side, it's like you're claustrophobic. You've got you, the car, the 3 people you're battling, and then on that right side, you've got that fence, the catch fence, that is going to be very detrimental to yourself and your race in the event that you hit it. So for those drivers, I'm sure the anxiety levels are getting a lot higher. I'm sure the heart rate's accelerating. Those guys do not want to make a mistake when they're on that high side.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the thing. I mean, whether you're in an official, you get those official races at Daytona, which are chaotic, or if you're in like a league race, your nerves are 110, like 110% at max, because you just don't want to make that wrong move that could wad up the field, or possibly even take you out as well. But at the same time, you got to be aggressive because you want to win at Daytona. But it's just, oh man, as we see Travis Everett overshoot his pit stall.
Yeah, have to hit the racing gear there, get back into his box, as we have a few drivers here who opted to not take a stop. That is the 60 of Johnny Thunders. That is also going to be the 48 of James Johnson. So 2 drivers here who might have something maybe figured out, because as you know, Emmett, in Daytona, a lot of the races end up with cautions breeding cautions, the chaos theory. So is that something that we need to look out for here tonight, or do you think these drivers are going to mellow out and we start getting some green flag runs?
It's hard to tell, but I mean, we'll take a gander at Johnny Thunders right here. It's going to be interesting, Mac, to see if his goose is cooked, not coming in and getting tires, as he's going to be leading this field. But the good thing is, James Johnson on the outside also elected to stay out. So, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys handle with this field coming in for new rubbers and everything.
Yeah, the only thing good about a bad strategy is if you've got a driver that's also on your same bad strategy. So we'll see if it does end up being a bad strategy here tonight in our season opener. We get a little bit of a championship defender update. Gary Breland, he's been in the hunt all night. He sits in P4, that number 99 Ford Mustang. opting to stick with his number. He was 99 last year, not switching to the 1, which you see happen a lot in the Formula 1 series in real life. Max Verstappen now, since he is not the defending champion, he is changing to number 3, which is his original number. That's what he wanted, but he had to settle for 33 because another driver on the grid had the number 3. I can't remember who it is. That was before my time of watching Formula 1. So very, very kind of quirky, fun thing they do there with the numbers. But I feel like in American racing culture, the number is a lot, it's a lot more team dependent than maybe European. Because, you know, the teams at the end of the day are the ones that own the numbers, not the driver. So it's a little mixed up. It's a little flip-flop when you hop continent to continent, but fun indeed.
Well, you know, we think about, I often think about that old Budweiser commercial where it had Junior doing a mock press conference and everybody's wearing 8 everywhere. Somebody's getting 8 on a tattoo. Somebody's getting their shrub cut in a number 8. And then he says, we're changing our number from 8 to 6.7. And then you just see chaos break out. And he said, nah, I'm just kidding. We're sticking with 8. Then it shows at the end another guy getting a tattoo and it says 6.7. He's like, no, it's just a joke. No harm done, hopefully.
I'm surprised that commercial, because I remember it, but I didn't remember the exact number. I'm surprised that commercial has not made it back into the media with the whole 6-7 joke going around. If your kids are watching, they're going to laugh at that one. As we get set here to continue, lights are out on the iRacing official pace car. We get ready for the start again. We're about to hear the roar of these Gen 7 cars again. Maybe this will be the last restart. Who's to say? It is Daytona. We are green again here at the pinnacle of motor racing.
Yeah, like you were saying, Mac, I mean, this is these guys' Super Bowl. I mean, not many series start off with their biggest race of the year. And, you know, there's a lot of big races. You know, there's, 3 or 4 crown jewels through the season. But, yeah, Daytona tops them all.
Yeah, Daytona, very, very prestigious, very iconic on a global scale when it comes to motorsport racing. Michael Peden in that number 24. Currently sitting 10th. He's a driver we typically see more towards the front. He's a very, very likely top 5 contender here. So as we boil down these laps and get closer to the finish, will we see him making some moves?
Yeah,
24 there, side by side. That side draft was crazy. Did you see that, Emmett? It was really close together. He had to jerk his wheel to get out of it, it seemed like.
You know, the funny thing is they say you can't side draft with this car, but we just saw it right here live on Racer Nexus that you can side draft with this car in the Tobacco Road Next Gen Cup Series. So now look at right here, James McRae, if he sees that and you see the 12 of, sorry, I lost the
Chris
track.
Toppings.
Yeah, Chris Toppings. Well, no, actually not Chris Toppings. He's in this, Curtis Preston.
Yeah, I apologize.
If he sees
Curtis
that,
Preston,
does he move up just a hair to get that side draft, to get that advantage, to get past Peden?
Yeah, very, very likely that will be the outcome here, as we now see Chris Toppings, of course. I got it all jumbled in my head. He's running the Biff memory, the in memory of Biff tribute scheme there, part of Quack Pack Racing in that number 16. Currently sitting in P8. James Johnson now has taken the lead over from his partner, Johnny Thunders. I say partner. They both are on the same strategy. It seems to be working. Average speed per lap has dropped about 8 tenths. So it's going to be a little slower here until we can get these alternative strategy guys maybe pushed up to the top. You can see Nate Lesko in that Nesquick number 20 Camry. He's trying to do just that. It's a lot harder to take the position around the outside, so they're going to try to wait for a mistake, but if James Johnson and Johnny Thunders can stay on the same page and stay strapped to this bottom line, it's going to be difficult for the rest of the grid to get around them.
Yeah, James Lesko in that Nesquick Toyota Camry really mixing it up right now. As we see right now, James Johnson, I think you can say maybe Johnny Thunders right now is making him an honorary member of ESR. So it'll be interesting to see those two are working really good together as we see McLaughlin. And now we see Brandon Lopez shoot out to the high side right here, Mac, trying to get a run.
Yeah, he is having a really, really good run. We'll see if they can hold form through the turn here. Turns number 3 and 4. He has a chance to get a big run coming out of 4 if Mr. Breland can keep him burning right in terms of draft. It's not looking like it. They're losing steam pretty fast as they go through the start-finish line. We are halfway through this race, ladies and gentlemen. So if you thought the first half was crazy, I'm sure the second half's going to be a little better. As Gary Breland, I just manifested it. It wasn't even the end of my sentence. And Gary Breland has ran into the back of Brandon Lopez. And Brandon Lopez now sits with a heap of something that resembles a NASCAR, as he has got to drive that thing all the way back around into pit road.
Yeah, such a tough break. Beautiful looking car. Looks like Adolfo Castillo was also involved. But yeah, tough break for Brandon Lopez. And I was just saying, he was trying to get that outside line to go, and it looked like, as Castillo's catching back up to the field, it looked like, Mac, looking at the replay right here, it just looked like Breland pushed at the wrong time.
Yeah, Breland just unfortunately catching that run. He hit that air pocket, broke through right to the rear bumper of Brandon Lopez at the worst time, as you can see there. Hits the air pocket. He's right through into the back of Brandon Lopez there, and there seemed to be another sort of collision there that happened on the grid, a little bit of a turn. I saw someone go sideways as a reaction, I guess, towards the chaos that they had just seen. So we'll take another look here as Breland gonna hit the 5, and I think something else might occur as well. Brandon Lopez, that is just Pinball Nation, as that's a throwback of a show on MTV, yeah. I believe. Pinball Nation. I pulled that one out of left field.
Something happened to Adolfo Castillo, because it looked like he saved it. Oh, right there. He went around off the apron. Take a look right here, Mac. This is what I mean right here. See, look right here. He looks like he saves it, but then right here he loses it. Oh, Travis Everett. Oh, hard into the wall.
Yeah, having to juggle that apron is not going to be easy. It never, ever is. And Adolfo Castillo, unfortunately, not going to be on the successful end of that one. So a little bit of a collection, a little bit of a compound incident here that we have. Brandon Lopez going into the pits. We'll take you back. This is the view of Travis Everett, that Outsiders Racing number 13. Black Rifle Coffee, and it was very close.
Wow.
On the likes of the 69. Travis Everett going to save it. And the number 69 of Adolfo Castillo, he gave it a lot of attempts. That was very, very close to being saved. So we were very close to praising him.
Well, it's like, oh man, that's Brandon McLaughlin. That's Lopez in the back. I was gonna say, well, you know, Mac, driving these cars at Daytona, I mean, usually, you know, when you feel the back end coming out, you can just lift just a hair and then you're good to go. But with Daytona in the apron and where they were, not on the flat part, but on the banking, it's very difficult to save it. And so, I mean, Adolfo Castillo, he tried it, but it's just so hard to save it when you get it down to that different degrees of surface.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. It's like when you're trying to fit a circle inside of a triangle. It's never, ever going to work, no matter how many times preschool or kindergarten you does it. It's never going to work. And that applies here, even as we're grown in the motorsport racing world. But here on the iRacing official service, anything that happens in the motorsports world is likely to happen in the sim. It is a simulator after all. James Johnson going to be your leader for our fourth caution. This will be our fifth start, I should say, of the race. We'll see if the lights go out on that pace car. They do, in fact. So we will be green next time by. Lap 36 of 65, Emmett. Tell me, if you were in the car, is this when you start to hit the hammer, or are you going to wait a little longer?
You know, setting in here, I think I'm dropping back to the back. I'm getting out of all the chaos. I'm going to ride it in the back, see what happens, avoid some wrecks. We see it so many times, you know, when we were running as we see the LNG power washing LLC car coming on here. Hit up Mr. Joe Bonner for all your power washing needs. But anyways, so back what I was saying, you stay in the back, avoid the chaos, and then you're there at the end. We've seen it so many times when we ran the Gen 5 and even the Gen 6 also. But with this Gen 7, a lot of guys, they like to stay up front. They don't like to drop to the back. But if I'm driving, I'm going to drop to the back.
Yeah, and it is going to be a top 10 dominated by Chevrolet, so you're not going to see them getting to the back. They want to get to the front and have their position and force known. The 48, your current leader in a Chevrolet. Curtis Preston in the 12th, John Smith in the 47, Thomas McLaughlin in the 36, Bruce Velasquez Munoz in the 93. Those are all going to be your top 10 sitters for the Chevrolet manufacturer. And it's a Chevy grid. As I'm looking at the timing tower now, we rarely see a Toyota Camry being this low in the grid count. Will it be the year of the Camaro in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Cup Series? James Johnson's going to try to make it work, as he is pulling away, it seems, from Brandon McLaughlin, who seemed to have maybe slept on the start a little bit. So he is going to be late to his run. Going to be a very nice run for him, maybe to overtake and take this leader spot here. Nate Lesko in the number 20, as you see Jordan Baumgartner there in the 71, chasing that 93 of BVM. Right beside him, going to be the 12 of Curtis Preston. Curtis Preston trying to take it around the high side. Johnny Thunders, we know he loves to push somebody in one of these super speedway lines. If he can get hooked up with the 12 and the 12 gets hooked up with the 20, we might see a little bit of a top side pull here as we head into turn number 1, going to the back stretch. Emmett, are you a top line or are you a bottom line kind of guy in this sort of situation here at Daytona?
Well, I like to be on top, and you know, it's a good thing, you know. I was thinking about how I was going to say that, but when it comes to racing, no, I'm just kidding. No, the top line's where you want to be, because you get to, that's the way that you get the runs, as that outside line is really forming. Oh, man!
Nate Lesko going around and around. We saw it entering turn 3. Producer Rob Campbell got to it as soon as it happened there. We saw Nate Lesko. He started to get the speed wobbles as he came out of turn 4. It happened halfway through the corner. It took until exiting turn 4 to actually have anything happen, but that's going to be a big one. Multiple drivers collected.
Yeah, and what did I tell you, Mac? It's not a matter of if the big one's going to happen. It's a matter of when. And right there, I think we just saw it.
Yeah, that very well could have been our win. As we go back and take a look here, in focus is Travis Everett in that 13 and the 14. Unfortunately, the 14 of GT Irizarry is just going to stop. A very, very unfortunate thing that happened between them. Travis Everett just didn't understand or didn't know that GT Irizarry there was going to slow down, almost like a brake check it seemed. Maybe he wanted to hit pit road or maybe slowing up for the caution. But the 99 of Gary Breland is also going to get collected.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Mac. I think that the 14 was wanting to come in for a pit stop. But actually, I don't think he was because pit road would have been closed. That's very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe GT Irizarry, as we see.
Oh my gosh.
The initial crash here, that is going to be the 22, the 20, the 12, the 24, the 44, who we see in focus.
Oh my gosh.
Going to be a Quantum Motorsport car that gets through. I believe that might have been Casey Gross, who we saw get through. Might have been the first car through.
Going to be Chris Perry, I believe, that got through on the the 34.
Chris Perry. That is correct. Chris Perry, yes, sir. So Chris Perry doing a good job.
I think you could call that.
We go back.
I think you could call that car the Big Poppy paint scheme, running the 34 on a red with the Boston Red Sox on the car.
Yeah, and the 7 of Scott Matthews there, just barely getting collected, but it's gonna torch his tires as he spins through the grass. 41 of Billy Jordan gonna make it out. As we go back and take another look here. I mean, that's just chaos. How do you get through that full speed?
Oh my gosh.
That is Chris Perry. He just kept it in. He said he did not care. Let's leave.
Making Big Poppy happy.
Yeah, that car moved way faster than Ortiz ever got on a home run. I can promise.
I know, right? That's the fastest I've seen a 34. From the Red Sox move. Oh my gosh.
Woo! Yeah, that's going to be surgical from Chris Perry, just cutting up, looking like one of those No Hesi Assetto Corsa videos. As we move simulators with that one back here to the real world, the good world of iRacing here. And the official service, James Johnson, going to still be your leader through all the trials and tribulations. Brandon McLaughlin rocking that Buffalo Bills helmet. Buffalo picking up their win over Jacksonville in the NFL playoffs last weekend.
What a crazy game. What a crazy game that was. I really thought Jacksonville was going to come back, and then Trevor Lawrence throws it, tipped, ball game.
Ball game indeed. BVM, Bruce Velasquez Munoz sitting in P3 with that Coca-Cola car. Jordan Baumgardner in P4. He's up big here today. Big winner. Up 12 spots. Started the race P16. Nate Lesko going to be, unfortunately, a loser in terms of grid position here tonight. Adolfo Castillo up 20 spots. Your big mover. He's been through it all, the Quantum Motorsports driver has, but he still is fighting. James McRae, number 27. That Cinema Roll car. We got to the bottom of it. It is Cinema Roll. Billy Jordan in the number 41. He is also Quantum Motorsports driver. Very good, very nice and appealing queue they have for Quantum Motorsports. It looks good on a livery, so shout out to the Quantum Motorsports design department on that front. James Johnson in that 48. Jimmy Johnson Lowe's car. Man, it's just so iconic. And it ages extremely well, too. No matter what car we move to. I mean, that was That scheme was 4 cars ago, and it still looks amazing here on a Gen 7.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know if you've heard the rumors in the garage, Mac, but, you know, we have Tony Stewart running the season opener at Daytona for Colleague in the brand new Ram truck. We got Jimmy Johnson jumping into the #1 for Tricon at the San Diego road course, and now they're trying to call out Jeff Gordon to get back in the car, so be interesting to see if that plays out.
Yeah, last time I watched Jeff Gordon on a professional race was actually during the iRacing Invitational back during COVID, when this whole sim racing thing really blew up. It didn't look too good then. Will it look better now? Who's to say? But someone who needs to look better as we go green, Brandon McLaughlin in the 81. He's been silent. We know he likes to run up front. He is a race winner here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. Can he get it done?
Yeah, it'll be interesting as now we see that bottom line as McLaughlin gets hung out to dry, as the bottom line's coming into play and they're going single file. That's really going to hurt McLaughlin as he's just getting sucked back, as he's going to get into the sucker hole, as the great DW would say. But he finally gets in the line behind Everett, in front of Everett.
And a bit of contact there. You saw it towards the left side of your screen. That is going to be the 81 of Brendan McLaughlin and the 02 of Chad Lancaster. So just a little bit of contact there. We are going to go yellow. So I'm not entirely sure what it was that sent us yellow. It could have been maybe a compounding result from what we just saw. But it seems that Chris Perry might be affected.
Oh, Chris Toppings.
Looks like it might be Chris Toppings. Not entirely sure. We'll have to go back and get a replay on that. Chris Toppings, of course, in the Greg Biffle Memorial wrap here tonight. If you're just now joining us, we did take a Memorial silent lap on lap 16. No, that's going to be the 22. Big contact on behalf of the 22. That is Joe Bonner. That car is unfortunately going to need a little bit more than just a power wash, as he got creamed, caught the white catch fence there on the right. He is going to have to take that in to the pit stall and get some work done. As we take another look here. He was flying, though, big and unfortunate. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, bad part about doing the online virtual sim racing. Something called netcode, when the server registers something that might not entirely be what's happening on your screen or on the client side, as it is termed in the scene. Chris Topping is going to get a little bit of that Red Bull car as well. But no harm, no foul for the most part on behalf of them. A good wrench 3 from Scott Broker. I am going to be honest, that is the first I'm seeing of that car. I would have commented on it earlier if I had saw it. Shout out to the Intimidator. One of the best to ever do it. Cars look a whole lot different nowadays.
Did you see the AI render of that car, and Austin Dillon was driving it?
Oh, that's
you talking about some
that's how to stir an entire community in one post. Drivers into the pit stalls here. Lap number 44. We are faced with our 6th caution here tonight. BBM going to have a big run out of the pit lane. He is going to beat the 44 out of the pit. So big position jump there. Bruce Velasquez Munoz was working on the 44 of Blake Cannon. It's happened multiple times this race. He gets the edge here as we go. 20 laps to go once we get started.
Yeah, and Jason Cow saying, I'm kind of glad I missed this week. ...
Yeah, it seems to be a little chaotic here at Daytona, but all races are just a little chaotic when you're racing here at the pinnacle of motorsport. James McRae in the number 27 Cinema Roll car. He has kept it nice looking throughout the race here. Not entirely sure. I think he might have actually had to use a quick repair So as we get down to these last 20 laps, Emmett, I gotta ask, what's the mental state like if you're a driver in, say the back of the grid, compared to a driver that might be sitting at the front like Nate Lesko or Chad Lancaster?
I think you're just like, you start getting there, and when you're up at front, you're like, you don't know what to do with your hands, because you're sitting there and you're like, how did I get up here? And in a blink of an eye, it can either drop you to the back or your day could be over. But if you're in the back, you're just sitting in the weeds, just like a cat, just waiting to pounce, just sitting there. And then when it's time to go, then you pounce.
Yeah, so being very opportunistic is, in Emmett's opinion, the way to go about this race. I agree 110%. If we were at somewhere small, I think a more clear-cut strategy would need to be used. There would need to be a more linear path of, I need to make up this amount of spots in this amount of time. But with the big and vast land of a super speedway.
I'm sorry. I saw this. There's a guy in a wife beater, and he's just got his hand above his head like he paused for dramatic effect, posing for a picture.
Yeah, the very
oh man,
the very low poly crowd that we have here in the iRacing official service. Hopefully 2026 can bring a little more graphical advancements when it comes to the atmosphere around the track. Nate Lesko here in the lead as he is going to command the grid once again, Emmett. And tell me, if you're Nate Lesko, what you answered it with the mindset a few minutes ago. Is it going to be the same with Nate Lesko, someone who has kind of had a target on his back? He's had the most success when you look at, the race all encompassing. He's had the most success here on the grid so far. Is that necessarily going to be a target, or do you think people are going to want to team up with him and maybe push him to a win if they know it can get them a second?
Well, that's the thing that I was wondering. I was like, is there a button that he could push that can signal, wave his hand to James Johnson to give him that push? But, I mean, we also look at Chad Lancaster up there on the outside front row. Lancaster, a Florida native, how big would it be for him to win here at Daytona?
Yeah, going to be a home race for him. Well, he unfortunately slept a little bit on that start. The 48 of James Johnson going to be able to get past him. We go green again, 20 laps to go. Do not adjust your YouTube, whether it be on the TV, desktop, or mobile device. We are here. 20 laps to go. This is the Racer Nexus broadcast. My name is Mac Nelson. Emmett Crow in the booth with me. Big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. You can find them in the description below for all your sim racing needs. Code Racer Nexus at checkout. We're going to get a little bit of a fishtail in the back of the grid, and it's going to be big chaos. I didn't even get done with the ad read, and we are yellow again. That's going to be 7th caution here tonight. And that's going to be BVM, who's turned around, and I believe that is the 69 of Adolfo Castillo. Yes, it is. The San Juan, Texas driver. Gonna have a bad day there. Michael Peden, you see the scuff marks on the front of that number 24. That one might have gotten a lot of the people. Might have been the final shot in the foot for him.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I ran a Kansas race, and I got caught up in a late race wreck. And I had that same issue happen to me. You talking about driving. When you're driving without that fender, it's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you can barely drive it, but we were able to limp it around the track somehow. But yeah, it's a pain to drive. So yeah, a tough break for Pete. Oh my gosh, Chris Perry once again.
Yeah, Chris Perry is playing with the death note for any anime fans out there. He is getting very, very close.
Oh my gosh.
To certain end of race levels of damage, but he did get a little bit of damage on that one, but way, way better than what could have been. And we'll look back here at John Smith. We'll take a look at Chris Perry here, the Washington, North Carolina driver.
Oh, he
It's
didn't
going to
get
be
any
a little
damage.
bit. He might have not got any damage. That might have been netcode actually working in a good way for Mr. Perry here, as he looks to be completely clean and ready to keep racing here. The number 34 doing crazy things. The number 24 currently in pit road. He is at his box. His crew seems to just be chatting about something. I guess they're going over the strategy on what they're going to do. James McRae, or sorry, go ahead, Emmett.
I was about to say, Mac, that's when you know your day's done, when your crew's just sitting there just chatting, and they're just like getting the TV time that they need.
Yeah, that's when you got to just throw the hands up and ask for a hot dog in the car or something. Make sure you put extra relish on that thing if you're just going to sit around and do nothing. Chris Toppings in the number 16, getting his pit stop. Going to get a little bit of a clean front bumper on that car. BVM getting his damage repaired as well. He heads back out. He is currently sitting P15. Not entirely sure where he's going to end up after all of the yellow flag debauchery that goes on with the iRacing official service. Nate Lesko still holding strong out front in that number 20 Nesquik. It's making me kind of crave some chocolate milk. Unfortunately, I don't have milk nor chocolate here in the crib, so cannot do that. Might have to run to a little gas station. Maybe hit a little pack action at the gas station, but Nate Lesko cannot do that because he has got a race to win season opener of season 2 of the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Cup Series. And while we're here, while we're cautioned, I will say shout out to Track Cams 22 for all of the car and track cameras you see here on the Racer Nexus broadcast. Track Cams for Gourmets. Wonderful, wonderful guys over there. They do a fantastic job in giving you the most realistic and immersive camera experience here. Apex Sim Racing as well. You see the logo in the middle, code Racer Nexus, for a little bit of a kickback off of your sim racing equipment. They sell everything: wheelbase, wheel rims, pedals, chassis. They got it all. Go check out Apex Sim Racing.
Yeah, and we have LNG's power washing. They're going to need some power washers for some of these cars, as they need to hit up Mr. Joe Bonner and the 22 machine and find out how to get his rigs down to these down to each one of these cars. He's going to have to hire about 10 or 20 people just to finish power washing all these cars from the dirt, from the grass that we've seen.
Yeah, and that car unfortunately has seen better days. Might need to take out a mortgage on all the power washing that car might need to get back to acceptable form. Joe Bonner, unfortunately, not the greatest day for him. The Millersburg, Pennsylvania driver sitting in 20th. There is hope for him. Nate Lesko is in first, but they could easily switch positions. We could still see another big one. We're 7 cautions in, Emmett. If you're a gambling man, are you taking another caution, or do you think we're done?
It's just like I told you, got no one to hold them and no one to fold them. But I don't think we're done. The way this race is going on, I just want to add, looks like, let's see, before I say it, I want to make sure he's on the lead light. Yeah, Brandon Lopez is all the way back up to 7, Mac, after being involved in 2 wrecks. So great job for Brandon Lopez. And just like we were saying, you can get all the way back up in the field.
Yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina driver in that Red Bull number 5. I like the neon green with the black and white. Haven't really seen that before. Gives it maybe an Optic Gaming vibe if you're a fan of the Call of Duty League or Counter-Strike back in the day when they had a team. Little cool little reference there as we get set for our 8th start of the race. We are green. 17 laps to go. It's time to lock in if you're a driver outside of the top 10, and it's time to make some moves.
Yeah, and as we see, who was that in the Motorcraft at the very tail end, he started making a move right at the beginning. He shot up high, but now he's moved down to the bottom. And now this bottom line is where it's to be, but that high side is trying to come into effect. They're going to have a lot of energy to counteract. As looky there goes another car to the outside. Can't see who that is.
I believe that's
it's going to be Johnny Thunders.
Yeah, Johnny Thunders in the 60, trying to get the second line started. Seems like Thomas McLaughlin maybe had hopes of getting a third line started, but I think we should maybe push the second line before starting a third line. That would be the most optimal way around this weirdly shaped circle. Scott Matthews in the number 7 car trying to chase the 36. That is going to be Thomas McLaughlin as well. 14 getting into the fold. You see on the right side of the screen, 71 as well. They're going to beat and bang. 71 trying to start a third line. Not entirely needed. We've still got 15 laps to go. The back of the pack is starting to get antsy. They realize their time is dwindling to get something done here.
Yeah, as we see Curtis Preston in the Freedom. Gotta love seeing that on the track. In the 12, I guess that's a turning Freedom throw tribute to Charlie Kirk. But yeah, look at this. I mean, James Lesko doing a great job on the bottom line. But look at Johnny Thunders. He's coming in. Oh my gosh.
And that's going to be big contact. Brendan McLaughlin might be able to keep it clean. Johnny Thunders is long gone. Brendan McLaughlin almost held it. He got a little bit of a kick to the left when he changed surfaces from that concrete onto that asphalt. But Johnny Thunders going to be wrapped up in something else today. He cannot catch a break here at Virtual Daytona.
I tell you, Mac, that gander on the front of that car, man, that thing went flying up in the air. Look at this.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, just a lot of wheel hop for Johnny Thunders, and hitting that wall made it no better. Brendan McLaughlin very, very close to basically saving himself from that. He's going to have a little bit of contact, but maybe nothing too bad. And unfortunately, that's going to be the other McLaughlin of Thomas McLaughlin that is going to have that contact with his right rear. As Chris Toppings.
Chris Perry once again.
Yeah, Chris Perry and Chris Toppings. Chris Toppings in that number 16 Biffle tribute, pulling out a little bit of that Biff magic that we saw in the 90s and 2000s, as he is going to have a very good view of how this all unfolded. On board with Chris Toppings here through the hood cam, powered by Racer Nexus and Cams 22. Car was holding the brakes, just saw the smoke going up, but momentum, brakes cannot stop 100% of your momentum instantly, as that was extremely close.
I think Johnny Thunders, where he hit is where Kyle Busch hit in that, hold on, it's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series when he broke his leg. I believe that was the same spot.
Yeah, I believe you might be right on that one. As we see John Smith, the Golds. You had to get that O'Reilly's Auto Parts shout out in there. They're paying them by the boatloads, folks. John Smith in the number 47, the Goldsboro, North Carolina driver. He has worked his way all the way up to P4. He is 19 spots up. Incredible season debut here for John Smith. Can he get something done? Nate Lesko is still your leader. He is the lone Camry inside of the top 9. 10th is going to be a Camry and Jordan Baumgardner, but Nate Lesko has a lot of enemies behind him in terms of manufacturer. James Johnson, Blake Cannon, John Smith going to be Chevrolet, Chad Lancaster, Gary Breland, I apologize, and Travis Everett going to be your Fords.
I was just going to add, back up in Tulsa at the Expo Center, we got the Chili Bowl going on, and Johnny Thunders, that definitely looked like one of them midgets, how they've been flipping through the air, doing cartwheels.
Sammy Swindell about 2 hours ago, having a bad flip in his midget at the Chili Bowl. He hopped out under his own accord. So very good to see there. Brandon Lopez back here getting his car raised on jacks, getting some tires thrown onto that puppy. He is ready to lock in for what will be our final 10 laps once we go back green. And Emmett, as broadcasters, we need to be impartial. But who do you think might have an advantage here? Who do you think might grab the win?
Well, I'm going to tell you straight up, because being in this league, James Johnson isn't going to like sitting in second. You know, we've seen him several times being really aggressive last season, so it'll be interesting to see how long he sits there in second. But I think Chad Lancaster might still win. I'm going to go with P5 to be my winner.
Well, you see, I was wrestling around with that idea. Chad Lancaster there in the Landon C02 Ford Mustang. I was wrestling around with the idea of Chad Lancaster. I've liked what I've seen from him tonight. But I can't lie, I think the number 7, Scott Matthews, he has had a very good race IQ here tonight. He has been almost perfect. He got collected earlier on in the race, but he was very, very close to squeaking out of that one. I think he has the proper amount of wisdom yet aggression on the racetrack. I think he's the one to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I don't want to jinx Lancaster because I picked McRae to win last season, and we all know how that turned out. I believe it was at Iowa. So definitely be interesting to see what happens as we get down to these closing laps.
Yeah, lights on the pace car are going out. It is going to be 9 laps. Or no, I apologize. It is going to be 10 laps as we cross. So we will have a 10-lap, hopefully, shootout. Hopefully we can stay green. The drivers of the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series would like to give you nothing more than a banger. But mistakes do happen. Racing incidents do happen. That is why we throw the yellow flag. But hopefully we can have just a little bit of green in our future here for the end of this race. We are not here under the night lights. It is broad daylight here at Daytona. Track temperature when we started this race was 95 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll get a check and see towards the end of the race, now that these cars have been running, how much have they heated that track up. It's actually gone down in temperature. Wow. We are partly cloudy now, however, that could be casting a little bit of shade on this asphalt here. 77 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity 45%. Not going to do too much. Reminder for you guys, if you missed the top of the broadcast, next week we go to Iowa. 4 sets of tires for this race. I'm sure none of the drivers are even close to breaking that threshold. We're at Daytona. It's going to be fast. It's going to be loud. It's the season opener. Here we go. Nate Lesko is going to lead them into the last bit of this race. A little bit of a sleep from the 48 of James Johnson. That's kind of what I stopped my sentence for. I heard his car kind of poop out for a second. Luckily, he gets to slot back in into P2. John Smith going to try to take the high side, and there's your man, Chad Lancaster, looking to make it work down on the bottom.
Yeah, Chad Lancaster using the bottom. But I think McRae, sorry, not McRae, I saw James McRae. James Johnson, I think he just wanted to get out of that outside line, Max. So I don't think he slept. I think he just wanted to ease right in there.
Yeah, very, very likely could be happening. Jordan Baumgartner having some sort of issue with getting the power down on his car. 44 of Blake Cannon not able to have that problem. He is flying, hitting 198 miles an hour here. As I believe, no, that was Blake Cannon. I apologize. It was Blake Cannon that hit 198 miles an hour. 44 is going to slide right in front of Travis Everett. Travis Everett has nowhere to go. He's being pushed. Some guy comes in front of him. He has got nowhere to go. He gets sandwiched. Going to be a little bit of contact. We are now 3 wide, 9 laps to go as we finish up our season opener here. Travis Everett choosing to get the heck out of Dodge. That is going to be the next quick 20, and there is your big one. 9 laps to go. It's too many drivers to count. We've got 6 cars who managed to stay out of it.
Unbelievable.
Gary Breland, your championship defender, getting caught up in it. Scott Matthews in the 7 getting caught up. BVM getting caught up in it as well. So Nate Lesko, who led this race for a very long time, is heading into pit road.
Yeah, a tough break for Nate Lesko. And that's just what we were talking about, Mac. You know, we said at the top of the hour, I was telling you, I don't think I've seen very many pole sitters go flag to flag here at Daytona. And it looks like that could be true.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nate Lesko just going to end up another statistic for that stat here tonight. It started off with Lesko, and it's going to end with Curtis Preston catching a whole lot of people. The number 5 Red Bull gets through. The 71 of Baumgartner is going to get through. And for a guy like Baumgartner, who had a whole lot of trouble with getting the power down on those opening laps, is this an opportunity for him to go get some damage fixed? Or do you just sit in the front and just bleed positions as the race goes on?
Yeah, I think you just, at this point, you know, we have, let's see, let me do some math. I'm not good at math, though. We'll come into 6 laps to go this time. 7 laps to go, excuse me. I think you might just try to wait it out because I think we're going to get a green-white checker. That is my guess. So it'll be interesting, though, to see what actually happens.
Our 9th caution of the night. James Johnson going to be your leader now. He's been up front all night. As the pit flag there kind of got me to break character for a second. You got Eric Cartman right beside the Aflac duck. It's hard to stay serious when you see that. So James Johnson going to be your leader as we get boiled down here. It'll probably be 5 to go, depending on how these pit stops go. Once we get going, the 99 of Breland getting himself some tires put on there. He's got a little bit of damage on the right front of that Aflac 99. Chris Toppings, unfortunately, has a very slanted front end. That is not going to be the optimal way to have a car designed. Jonathan Pereira, your Portuguese driver in the Reliant Plumbing, number 38. He is going to try and get himself a top 10. He's in the contest. He's in the hunt. We've got a whole lot of drivers who deserve to be in the top 10 who are sitting, likes of Gary Breland, James McRae, Jonathan Pereira, Brandon Lopez as well, although he is in the pits along with Chris Toppings. So we've got a lot of heavy hitters, Emmett, but the problem is all these drivers cannot finish top 5, top 10. Are we going to see a power struggle here, or are we going to see some guys kind of concede and just finish the race?
Well, I don't think you could tell a NASCAR race car driver to concede and just finish on a good points day when coming to, oh my gosh, look at the carnage right there. Oh yeah, my gosh.
A lot of damage. A lot of damage going out to a multitude of cars. Looking back on the event log, it seems they declared that as a 12-car crash. So very, very, very destructive moment there coming down into the latter moments of this race. We are on lap 60. Are the pace lights out, Emmett? I'm unfortunately going blind at the age of 27. Pace lights are going to be out on the iRacing official pace car. We will be green next time by, and it is on James Johnson, who is your leader. I was not aware there was a lane choosing rule in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Cup Series, but it seems like there is, with Mr. James Johnson starting on this outside.
You know,
So for Blake Cannon, he's got the inside, Emmett. Is that going to be stronger or weaker for him?
You know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what James Johnson does. Does he just slide down in front of Cannon, or does he stay up there to get the push from Smith? That's going to be the question, Mac, because we've seen Johnson. He'll start on the outside, but then he'll shoot down to the bottom. But that was when he was in second. So now it's going to be interesting with him out front to see what he does coming to this leading this lap.
Yeah, it almost seems like he picked it because of familiarity. He's been on the outside with Nate Lesko leading the race for so long. Maybe that's just something that he thinks will net him the best opportunity here.
Yeah, definitely.
As we get set to do action once again, 6 laps to go. It is going to be 5 laps to go once we cross your outside car. James Johnson will have the button. He will release the pack into the wild. We are green here. 5 laps to go in the season opener here at Daytona. Chad Lancaster looking to get active quick on that number 44, Emmett.
So that was very interesting what Johnson did. He waited until he saw that Cannon was backing up to Lancaster, and then he shot down in front and created quite a bit of a gap, as now we see McLaughlin giving a big push to Smith. I wonder if Smith wins, does that mean we get a discount at New Era?
It might. It might mean that, and we are yellow again. And here we see some cars straggling in the back. We're not entirely sure what actually happened here, but we'll go back and take a look. Boss man Rob Campbell on the production, on the cameras, on the audio. So big shout out to Rob Campbell there. Job well done as always. You see the Thomas McLaughlin number 36 car as we head down the back here. The 27, James McRae. Or no, it looks like the 22 behind. Yeah, Chris Perry's finally going to get involved. He's going to get collected as the 22 goes around and around. And that's going to be, I believe, the second, maybe third time that the 22 has been the one turned in the accident. So very, very unlucky for the likes of Joe Bonner.
Joe Bonner? Oh, man.
Just beating
the owner of
banging.
LNG Power Washing?
Yeah, just absolutely banging going down the back straight there. They were scrapping. Looked like that fight between, I think it was Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch in Victory Lane back when I was a kid. Just back and forth, and then finally one game. It was the Chris Perry machine, and he is unfortunately going to collect the 22 of Joe Bonner as a consolation prize. So not exactly how you want to end this race if you're any of those concerned parties. As we now look at the 36 of Thomas McLaughlin, he sits in 6th, started the race 20th, so 14 positions up. You go one car ahead of him, that is the 47 Camaro. He is going to be up 18 spots. John Smith going to be currently sitting in P5. BVM Bruce Velasquez Munoz in P4. He started this race P17. He's having a big day as well. Chad Lancaster currently sits in P3 in that 02 Ford Mustang. He's going to be the only Mustang inside of your top 5. All the other 4 are Camaros. James Johnson going to be your leader. Blake Cannon in the 44, you see there in the second place. He is going to be at the same exact spot he started. So a very consistent night from him. There is your current leader. James Johnson up 8 spots. Lights are still going to be out on the pace car, so we're going to have a little bit of an unofficial green-white checkered. We'll have 2 to go. Or no, I apologize. We'll have 1 to go. For some reason, math is just not mathing for me tonight. But Emmett, when we get down almost, it's pretty much overtime when you think about it. They call it overtime now in the NASCAR series. What's the mindset? Do you just take what you have, or are you just gunning for the top and, hoping some sort of miracle happens?
Well, I can't remember who it was, but during an ARCA race, they asked this guy in the car, and he said, I ain't lifting until I see the checker flag or I see the pearly gates. So I think that's the mindset these drivers have. But I just got to thinking, Mac, we have a play on words, because Mr. James Johnson could be called Jimmy Johnson, and look at what car number he's driving.
Yeah, unfortunately, partner, I think everyone picked up on that as soon as they saw the car and the name. Unfortunately,
it's the little
unfortunately for my broadcast partner, it took 63 of the 65 laps here tonight to figure that one out. However, very well put. It is very reminiscent of a certain 7-time champion in NASCAR, Mr. Jimmy Johnson. He is, often referred to as the GOAT of the modern generation here. They always like to give it to Dale Sr. and Jimmy Johnson. I have no complaints with that. Another one we got to put up there is Mr. Greg Biffle. You see Chris Toppings, who was rocking the memorial paint for Mr. Biffle. Rest in peace to him and his family that tragically passed away. So very, very cool to see from Chris Toppings here. Going down the back straight is Mr. Toppings. He's got to catch up to the field here. I'm sure the lights are now out in our iRacing official pace car. Yes, they are. We'll have James Johnson calling it again when we get back around. And you see the number of laps changing. We are in a green-white checkered scenario here at Daytona, so it's going to be a straight-up brawl for these top spots, Emmett.
Yeah, and we got a comment from Mr. Joseph Bonner on our stream. Let's go, LNG Power Sports 22, 44, 48, 71, and 93.
Yeah, very, very good. We like to see all of the interaction between the community and the grid here. Feel free to send those comments on any Racer Nexus broadcast that you tune yourself into. But right now, we are tuned in to the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Cup Season number 2. We are opening here. We'll be at Iowa next week. You can catch us there. But for right now, we are at the pinnacle of motorsports, Daytona International Speedway. A lot of times in January, it gets a lot of global love for its Roar and its Rolex 24, but here we are doing our rendition of the Daytona 500 here, maybe even a more prestigious race. It's overtime, and here we go. Green flag is in the air.
Yeah, and right off the bat, James Johnson's going to shoot down in front of Blake Cannon. Now Lancaster giving the 93 of BVM a big shot right here, as now Cannon has moved up to the back bumper of Johnson.
Yeah, and if we get all the way around Emmett, we will be official. There are some sparks going. Some rear ends are stepping out. These drivers are laying it all on the line here in the season opener. Chad Lancaster closing off the 44. That's going to make the 47 of John Smith have to take an alternative route through that corner. 36 of Thomas McLaughlin. Now John Smith is going to slide in, coming down the back straight.
Oh, there goes Lancaster.
And there's going to be a big crash between Chad Lancaster. It seems we are official, though.
Wow.
I think white flag was in the air. I think we might be seeing this to the end. As yes, James Johnson and the 93 of BVM, they are still going. We've got a 4-racer shootout.
What a block.
Four cars here. 48 of James Johnson doing his crossover work, doing his best Jamal Crawford impression. as we are going through the final turn here tonight.
Look at the run.
Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series 93 at BVM. He's calling his shot. He's going to try to make it happen, but coming to the line, that contact is going to slow him down. It's going to be James Johnson who takes the win. Cannon going to be in second. BVM in third. John Smith, unfortunately,
oh gosh,
going to be the big loser of that one, finishing in fourth. Unfortunate for John Smith. He had a near perfect race all night and could not get on the podium. P5 will go to the 5 of Brandon Lopez. What a finish.
Yeah, and what a run. Bruce Velasquez Munoz, I think he just made it a little too early. Tried to jump out there, but just couldn't get it to stick, couldn't get anyone to help him, and I think that's what cost him right there, Mac. If he would have just waited just a little bit longer, I think he might have got him at the line.
Yeah, shades of the first time I saw him in a GT4 car at Road Atlanta. He got unfortunate luck on the same thing, a drag race to the line. But one heck of an effort. He's up 14 spots, and what an effort for P4 John Smith. I acted like it was a tragedy that he finished P4, but he's still up 19 spots into P4. So very, very, very good run out of him.
I think James Johnson is going to have to go to the hospital because that was a tough lick right there.
Yeah, that was a very hard impact, but the car rubs it off. He's still going to burn it down here on the lawn of Daytona. He's going to give it a little bit of a trim, as he should. James Johnson, your winner here tonight at Daytona.
Car might be a little broke to do a burnout. There he goes.
And on the right side of your screen there was Bruce Velasquez Munoz down by the flag stand. He is here in your broadcast booth as we prepare to give him an interview here. As unfortunately, a little bit of technical difficulties. I do not have the drag permission, unfortunately. Bruce Velasquez Munoz is who we would like in the booth. Just doing a little bit of talking to production. As BVM, Bruce Velasquez Munoz, it's Mac Nelson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
You were in a battle all night tonight, and it came down to overtime. In that backstretch, overtime, white flag lap, what was going through your mind, and did you want to get the win, or were you just happy to be up there?
Honestly, I'm just lost of words that we got a 1, 2, 3 for our team. But going back to what you said earlier, I was trying to get a win there, but apparently one of my teammates had to dump me and go to the other one, so I couldn't get the win. But I'm just happy that we got 1, 2, 3 for the team. So.
Yeah, well, you did a fantastic job, you and all those guys up front. Now you head to Iowa next week. Going to be a big change of tempo from Daytona here. Is that something that's going to play to your strengths, or do you feel like Iowa might be a little bit of a down week for you?
Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to make it to Iowa, but any other tracks like, I don't know, Watkins Glen coming up, Kentucky, and then Watkins Glen. Honestly, that might have been... Road courses with these cars is not... I mean, I might do Watkins Glen, but going to, I was saying, a road course, it's probably not going to be my type with this car. But let's see the next race that I'll do. Let's see if we can try to do another podium, or even better, a win for the team.
Yeah, that would be good indeed. Well, you had yourself a fantastic night here. Before we let you get out of here, I'm going to give you the floor. Who would you like to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Just want to give a shout out to my team, LNG Power Sports, for giving me the seat here and giving me the opportunity to get a 1, 2, 3 for our team. Shout out to y'all for the broadcast. Shout out to my good buddies that are probably not watching at home. Luke, you might be watching as well. Give a shout out to my brother. He definitely helped me a bunch in not building, but getting me the opportunity to race here and not racing, and just wanted him to be proud. Shout out to the winner, James, Blake, everybody in the team. And yeah, that's it, honestly.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and we'll let you get out and celebrate your P3 finisher here tonight, season opener at Daytona, Bruce Velasquez Munoz.
Thank y'all.
And now coming into the booth is going to be second place finisher Blake Cannon. Emmett, I think you might be down in pit lane with him. You got any questions for him?
Yeah, I'm sitting down here with your runner-up, Mr. Blake Cannon. Blake, how does it feel? I know second may stink, but how does it feel starting off so strong in this season opener?
Yeah, wanted to get James right there at the end for the trophy, but nevertheless, got it for the team. So congrats to James, congrats to Bruce. They ran really good. Just didn't really play out in my favor that last lap, and I didn't have a whole lot of options coming out turn 4. So, but hey, second isn't too bad. Get out of here with a good points day and move on to Iowa.
I was about to say, so we shift gears from the high banks of Daytona to the short track of Iowa. How do you feel about going to Iowa next week?
I feel pretty good. I think I got a little bit of work to do, but I like Iowa. I like the new pave. So I think I'm going to be a lot better there than I am at super speedways. That's for sure. But there's a lot of good guys in this league, so you got to qualify good, and then got to stay out front and be smart, because it's hard to come from the back with these guys. So just got to stay up front and stay in clean air.
All right, and before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank out there?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. It's a pretty cool deal. I thank everybody at Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series for all they do. I know tonight we had quite a few cautions, but hey, new season, new group of guys, Daytona, so we'll get it figured out. But thanks to everybody in the league to put this deal on, and shout out to everybody at LNG Power Sports for all they do, and a hell of a run for 1, 2, 3. Really shows that we've got a good group of guys on this team, and we're not here to fuck around this year.
All right, well, definitely. We'll see you next week at Iowa.
Thank you, man.
Back? No problem.
Yes, sir. I believe I am here with your race winner, James Johnson, in the number 48. And I got to ask you, James, I think tonight you might have gave Jimmy a run for his money as Best Johnson rocking a 48 Lowe's scheme, because you were cooking. Walk me through it. What did it feel like?
Hey, man, I just you gotta appreciate the team, PNG at first. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. Blake gave me the push. I'm a little annoyed at Bruce for ditching me, but hey, I don't blame him. Going for the win. Can't blame a guy for going for the win. It feels great. I don't know if anyone knows, this is my home. It's actually my hometown track. I'm from Orlando, so to win here at Daytona means a lot to me. It means a lot to me to win this race. I felt like I was one of the more dominant guys. I'm very good at super speedways, and I'm just so excited. It's gonna be a fun night later tonight. Let's just say that.
Well, I'm glad that you've got the celebrations ready to go. But if I could lock you in here for one question, you've got 20 weeks here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. We see a lot of people in the real-life counterpart. They win a Daytona race at the start of the season and then maybe get a little complacent, maybe get a little content with what they've done this season. Is that going to be you, or are you gunning for a championship here this year?
So, everyone knows Daytona is... as much as Daytona, I've always said is 60-40. 60% skill, 40% luck. I know I got pretty lucky. I played the strategy light. It's Daytona. All you do is put the metal to the pedal and make the right moves. But saying that, I'm here. I might not be a 4,000, this and this and that, I know I'm a fast, excuse my French, fast motherfucker. I just need to make sure I don't wreck. I can do that. I would give these I did very good. We had a test race a couple of weeks ago at Iowa. Did very well there. Fortunately, I got something I got to do or having some fun, or I'll be there to show my money. But championship wise, I'm gunning for it. Absolutely. I am going for that. I feel like I can bring it home for us and the guys at PNG. I think probably honestly my biggest competition is gonna be my teammate in Blake, and we ain't gonna be like if you all know F1, we're not gonna be like Lewis Hamilton or Rosberg. No, we're gonna be. I respect Blake. He respects me. I got him next time we go to a plate track. He pushed me to victory. I'm gonna push him to victory on the next plate track.
Well, we love the enthusiasm. We love the hunger here from the 48. We'll send the invoice for the cursing fine to the team office. But no, I'm just kidding. But enjoy your night, James Johnson. You are fired up. You deserve to celebrate, and you are the Week 1 winner of the Season 2 start of the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Cup Series. Have a wonderful night, James. We'll hopefully see you next week.
Hey, one last thing. I appreciate you guys for covering the race. Thank you to Chris for hosting the race, and thank you for PNG for the victory, and hope everyone has a good night. God bless.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well said from James Johnson. We'll let him get out of here and celebrate. He seemed fired up, Emmett, and for a good reason. He won here at Daytona.
Yeah, definitely. Great job by James Johnson. The aggressiveness finally paid off. We've seen him several times, in those closing races. He was in a position to win, and, something always happened, but he was finally able to get it here at Daytona, his home track, and what a big accomplishment for that young man, and wish him the best of luck as he goes to Iowa next week.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly, but that is going to do it for us for now. We appreciate all of the support. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Series season opener here at Daytona. Before we get out of here, quick shout out to Apex Sim Racing. You can get all of your sim racing supplies there. Use code RACERNEXUS for a little bit of a kickback, a little bit of a discount when you order some sim racing parts. Shout out to Track Cams for Gourmet as well for the camera and track, or the car and track cameras that you see here on the Racer Nexus broadcasting. Big shout out to Bossman Rob Campbell in the booth, producing for us, working all the magic. And from my partner, Emmett Crow, and myself, Mac Nelson, we wish you guys a wonderful night. We will see you next Wednesday here at Iowa for round 2 of the Tobacco Road Next Gen Series. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you in the next one.